corruption, fraud, lies, deceit, abuse, pain, suffering, and fascism, all elements that encase the Billionaires Beneficiary Bill. I'm Hoosier Blue, and I've got something to say about it. Let's get at it. Now, I don't know about all of you, but for me, the celebration of our nation gaining its independence from an authoritarian government, a king no less, whose main purpose and goal was to profit and control off of his people, was less than a festive day for me, as we are still reeling from the reality of the Billionaires Beneficiary Bill that was passed by both the Senate and the House and was signed into law by the fascist felon. This was a time, a day, when we should have been celebrating independence. Yet we were faced with the harsh reality that our independence, our constitutional rights, were being ran over and dismantled by the return of an authoritarian, a wannabe king whose main goal is to control and profit off of his people. It is looming closer every single day. This insane Billionaires Beneficiary piece of legislation will have multi-generational impact on our nation. The future is not bright for our children nor our grandchildren, and for many generations who will follow. It's the type of legislation that fascism is born out of. Now, I know most of you have probably read or heard about the many devastating elements that are contained within this bill and that will be imposed on our economy, on our environment, on our health care. In many ways, we are yet to truly feel and understand all that is contained within this bill. But I would not be doing justice if I did not take the time to share just some of those items with you. This bill adds an estimated $3.5 to $5 trillion to the national debt. It guts $930 billion from Medicaid alone. It guts an additional $480 billion from Medicaid. Initial estimates are saying that close to 18 million Americans will lose their health care because of this bill. At the same time, many of us will experience higher premiums, higher co-pays, higher deductibles, and a sharp increase to prescription drugs and medical services. In essence, what this bill does, it's lowering the coverage amount or eliminating it completely while increasing expenses and cost in the healthcare industry. It's an inhumane assault on the healthcare for citizens of this country and taking one step closer to the plan that is laid out in Project 2025 to eliminate federal funding for healthcare and making it a privately ran industry. This bill puts over 338 rural hospitals across our country in danger of closing, 12 alone in Indiana. Now, I will include a link for you to view those documents that contain this information. It inflates our already exuberant military budget to the tune of over $1 trillion annually. It's basically war over people. It makes the tax cut rate that initially was implemented during the felon's first administration to the top 1% to become permanent. Now, a side note on this, since the Reagan administration, this is the fourth huge tax cut rate reduction given to the wealthiest in our country by Republicans. This bill gives a tax credit of over $340,000 to everyone who makes more than $3.5 million annually, while it increases the tax rate to everyone with an income of under $360,000 yearly, making the working class pay a higher tax rate while reducing the tax rate of the morbidly rich. This bill defunds SNAP, food stamps, by taking $86 billion away from it, literally removing food from the mouths of nearly 40 million Americans, including an estimated 16 million children. It removes funding for school lunch programs that an estimated 16 million students use and participate in. Millions of women will lose access to low-cost birth control, cancer screenings, STI testing, abortion health care, and general reproductive care, as this bill forces the closure of over 200 Planned Parenthood healthcare facilities around the country. This bill terminates green energy tax incentives, electric vehicle incentives, and energy efficiency incentives that benefited consumers and applied guardrails to big oil energy and energy corporations. It stops America's process in the area of clean air, solar, and wind energy, and will not only do lateral damage to the environment, it will also create an estimated 8 to 10% hike in consumer electricity prices. It also opens the door for China to gain world domination in this arena. This is an area that America had already fallen way behind in until the efforts of Joe Biden, who changed our direction. Our progress has now been halted. Big oil now will basically be allowed to do as they damn well please. No regulations, no tax incentives to lower pollution, no guardrails, just free reign for them. Now, of course, this was part of a promise that the felon made last year when he hosted the big oil executives and the corporations at a Mar-a-Lago let me get on my knees and show you my appreciation dinner, and asked Big Oil to contribute $1 billion in exchange for these favors. Mike Summers, CEO of the American Petroleum Institute, praised this bill, calling it a quote-unquote new era of energy dominance. These are the people, the billionaires, who are the money behind the Republican Party and that are the driving force for getting this bill passed. This bill does not only give big tax breaks to big corporations, but this bill also gives big tax breaks to corporations that move jobs away from America. This is true. And it just doesn't give big tax breaks to big corporations who move jobs and investments away from America. It gives tax breaks to big corporations for doing that. It gives tax breaks for offshoring American jobs. Let that sink in a moment. It's all about profit over people. This bill is a scam, plain and simple. It has been presented to the American people as a bill that eliminates waste, fraud, and abuse, while giving the 1% and their corporations a free pass to create waste, fraud, and abuse. We've been lied to. The American taxpayers, you and I, are basically being clobbered by an already corrupt tax code in our country. And this bill makes it even worse. The rich getting richer while the working class become poorer and poorer. The separation of wealth will become even more appalling with the passing of this bill. I know that I have shared with you quite a bit of information. Hopefully some of what I have shared with you are facts and statistics that you were unaware of being contained in this Billionaires Beneficiary bill. But believe me, this is just scratching the surface of what is contained in this bill and the havoc it is going to create for millions of Americans like you and me. If you would like to add more to the list, if there's something that I have missed, please leave it in the comments for open discussion. All of this is being done to us by them for the sake of funding tax rate reductions for the top 1% money earners in our country, the billionaires and mega billionaires. This bill, this Billionaires Beneficiary bill, is a scam of epic proportion that is being exerted onto we, the people. The saddest part of this whole scenario, or better yet, what I should say, is the craziest thing about all of the pain and suffering that will come from this bill. The MAGA mind believes that this is all about owning the libs, when in true reality, red counties, red states, those heavily rural areas who are responsible for electing the felon in this last stolen election, they are actually the ones who will suffer and be hurt by this bill far quicker and far much more than us libs. And that is a fact. And they're just too damn stupid to understand that. So now is the time for the segment of my podcast I like to call the fascist of the day. And for this episode, I have chosen the MAGA Republican Congress as the fascists, yes, plural, fascists of the day, because it is apparent that they are not in D.C. to work for us, the people of this country. They are in D.C. to serve the felon, the authoritarian dictator, as his personal pansies and sycophants, and to assist him in returning our country to a time when we are ruled by an authoritarian king who believes that his people exist to serve him and fulfill his needs of profit and power.
Are we close to seeing Mr. Kim here at the White House?
Could happen. I mean,
they talked about that yesterday.
I would have him. Yeah, I think it's something that could happen. Yeah. Hey, he's the head of a country, and I mean, he's the strong head. Mm-hmm. Don't let anyone think anything different. Right. He speaks, and his people sit up at attention. I want my people to do the same.
I, for one, will not comply. I want to thank you for joining me for this episode of Something to Say with Hoosier Blue. If you want to hear more from me and become part of this community and join in our fight to save democracy, please hit the subscribe button. Give me a like. Drop a comment. Let's have a discussion. And please, tell your family, tell your friends, and tell your coworkers about my podcast. And once again, I want to thank you for joining me. My name is Kurt Mullet. I'm Hoosier Blue, and I have something to say. I'll catch you on the flip side.